Days before the Marquette School Board ended years of arguments about what the next high school mascot will be, Brumm filed a claim to register a trademark for their final pick, the Sentinels. While she's a patent lawyer, law professor, and candidate for state representative, Brumm says her recent actions come from her as a person with deep family history in the Upper Peninsula.
Absolutely no campaign money has been spent or will be spent on this. This is not a campaign issue. This is Margaret Brumm taking action.
And while Local 3 has talked with experts who cast doubt on Brumm's legal leverage to influence the school,
there's many possible situations in which her registration is denied.
Among the million rules, what we're getting into is one of the rules that says it's not trademark use if it's what they call merely ornamental. In other words, if you just print some words on the front of a shirt, that's typically not trademark use because it doesn't tell consumers where the shirt comes from.
Brumm said she had enough grasp on the Marquette Sentinels trademark to steer the school away from what she called a potentially devastating situation.
I know that even a positive change can put people under stress. And the change that is now being proposed and voted on is not a positive change. It is a change that has divided this community in a way I've not seen it divided.
She said that as a part of her opening remark at the head of a 90-minute discussion on her means and motives. She made a number of arguments, one drawing from her business experience, saying that a change to the Sentinels now would be unnecessarily expensive and maybe even pointless.
Over 30 years experience in different corporations, and every corporation I've been through has been through a change process at one point or the other. If the change is mishandled, it can be devastating.
One possibility she outlined is one where after a large amount of money is spent on the Sentinels branding, a newly elected board could just change it back. And Brumm said that would be due to the school board not convincing enough people to buy into the new mascot.
I think the school board has just done a not successful job of persuading anyone they're right. Either you agreed with them or they ignored you. But banishment of change requires you to reach out to people who disagree with you and persuade them. And that hasn't happened.
Another argument concerned how people who are from here think about themselves, their community, and their history.
We have been told by experts who have come before the board that regardless of our intentions, we are exhibiting racist behavior because we have not changed our name. If I'm standing up for something, I'm standing up for something that means something. Went to Lakeview this weekend and looked at pictures. My grandfather, my uncle, my dad, my brothers, my cousins, and I looked at them and I went, if I don't speak, who's going to speak? Who's left that's going to speak and remind people that we're not racist and we're not to be ashamed of what we are because the world has changed? I'm not unaware of the fact that there's a terrible history of the Native Americans being, what's the word I want? It's not enough to say treated as second-class citizens. They barely escaped genocide. They barely escaped losing their entire culture. That does not mean that the Native American wishes are the only wishes that should be listened to.
And with a changing world also comes changes to who we are and how we interpret the past. What about Native Americans in our community who are hearing this and saying, that would want the name to be changed, and are saying, why is this so hard to have anything else?
Why is it so hard?
Because it has been at least half a decade, if not more, that the process has been...
Do you understand how many generations have been through the schools under the Redmen? I've got my dad's tattlers from a relative of his from the early 20s, and it wasn't the Redmen yet. It didn't hit really till the 30s. You're talking my dad's generation, my generation, the next one, 4 to 5 generations of people. You're talking an area that is isolated geographically and culturally from the rest of the state and from the rest of the country, so we stick together as we always have.
We reached out to the school board for comment, who referred us to their newly hired trademark lawyer who is handling the legal situation. You can find a full transcript of our conversation with Brumm on upmatters.com. In Marquette, Skylar Perkins, Local 3.